Hi everybody doing? Unfortunately, I couldn't continue to do live because there was something going on with the signal. If it's not one thing, it's another. So I have to apologize for that. So I have to now record it. But what I was trying to say before I started having technical difficulties, this is why I missed my duty. I need to get me another intern. Because they set all this stuff up and then I don't have to worry much about it. Well, anyway, what I was trying to say on Facebook Live, which I don't think I was effective in doing, was that Donald Trump had made a couple of promises. He made a couple of promises about fixing the inner cities, right? I know it's only been 11 days, but damn, since he's so quick with the pen and he's signing every executive order left and right, what about putting a special team together to find out what's happening in Chicago? Because it's 750 murders since 2016. I mean, it's right here in the paper. Okay? Right, so Chicago, the nation's third largest city, will end 2016 with a surging murder rate, a demoralized and distrusted police force, and a weary populace that has become injured to daily reports of shootings. Okay? More than 750 people have been murdered in Chicago in 2016. The police said a 58% increase over last year and the highest to date since 1997. Okay. Then there has been more than 3,500 shootings in the city this year alone. So it's not getting better. It's getting much, much worse. And he should put something. Well, I will encourage you guys to tweet him and let him know that he needs to put a plan together about what he's going to do with Chicago, because the city is a shameful part of America. So busy to build a border, but then what about what is going on in Chicago and all the other cities? What's happening in New Orleans? New Orleans is still in bad shape. And the public health situation in New Orleans, I know no one's talking about it. It's really bad out there. It's bad in West Virginia. These are the coal mining states. He should start now to focus on that and start writing executive orders that will address that instead of putting us more into debt about building a wall. That can wait. The immediacy now is what's happening in these cities and in these urban areas. If he really is interested in making America great again, right, and making America great for everybody, then he should be focusing on these issues. I don't know. Another thing that I was trying to say live on Facebook is the situation with China and trade. David Navarro is someone who has been known to be a very bad critic of Chinese relations. Donald Trump seems, in his language, right? Let me be fair. He seems not to be happy with China. He thinks that China is very big on currency manipulation. Well, I will give it to him. China has been known to do that in the past and can be a real bitch about it. And it does affect us in many, many ways that, you have to be an economist to really understand the whole thing, the deal. But it's suffice it to say that it really doesn't help us. And I do believe that the Chinese government, when it comes to trade policy and trade relations and that which has been already put in place, we may continue to do that. So Donald Trump is on, well, he, according to his advisors, right, because we don't know if it's true or not, he seems to be on top of that. But according to a couple of newspapers, I'm getting the impression that there's a lot of fighting going on. The Chinese ambassador and the ambassador is newly appointed to China from our end don't get along. And there's something wrong with the cultural cues. They don't, it's almost like they're being seen, or we're being seen as the ugly Americans. Not so much because there's any racial tensions going on, but because they don't have the customs necessary to deal with China. China is not about signing transaction deals. It's more than that. But these, cats who are great, probably are making money, building empires, may not be the most nicest people or people with cultural cues that for other countries may be just as equally important. And China happens to be one of those countries. The Chinese see us as idiots and don't respect at all this new administration's way of doing things. So that's going to cause a problem with our commodities in the stock market. And I'll tell you how. Because China has been accused in the past of selling us defective products. All you got to do is Google it, China and defective products, and there'll be plenty of articles. China is known to do that. Why? As a retaliation towards us? No, maybe. Who knows? But it has been known that a lot of the defective products that have been exported from China in the past, the worst of the worst have always come here. So that's a way that trade wars can continue or even begin. And that can happen this time. I mean, look at the e-cigarettes. They be blowing up. I mean, do you see on the news when an e-cigarette blows up in your face or in your pants? God forbid. It looks like a fucking bomb went off. You know? And these continue to happen with more frequency. Look at the cars. Remember, just like Germany had an issue that they had to recount many cars, China would suffer the same thing many decades ago. Maybe not even that many decades ago. So the war against trade in China can happen at a multiplicity of levels, including with our products and commodities being exported from China. Why is this possible? Because you have to look at how the Chinese treat their own. You know, with China, it's not about the individual. It's about the group, the collective, like the Borg of Star Trek. And you have to understand that there's something that I read in the paper called iPhone City. And then I checked with other, sources. And they manufacture about 500,000 iPhones per day. And they go to these rural areas in China to just completely enslave their own populations into making these iPhones, giving them nickels on the dollar. The Chinese do this to each other. Can you imagine what they would do to us? And these are the things that no one is looking at and no one's talking about. But I do have another prediction from the People's Astrologer, which says that we are going to see far more defective products coming from the East than ever before. So we got to be ready for that, because that's coming. And then on the other side of the coin, let's talk a little bit about what I saw earlier today at Morning Joe. Reverend Al Sharpton was brought in to talk to Morning Joe, a show that shows up in the morning. And I watch it like I watch all the other ones, like Andrea Mitchell and Tamron Hall and A.M. Joy and Chris Matthews and Rachel Maddow. Because if I'm going to, as an astrologer, I still got to be on top of all of these current events and find out the wheat from the chaff and see what really is in between the lines that these cats are not talking about. But Michael, Reverend Al Sharpton, whom I used to know many years ago when I was a teenager, very different Al Sharpton today than the one I knew back as a teenager when he ran the Action Network in Harlem in 125th Street. You remember that? He had that place there on Madison Avenue, 125th Street. Yeah. He brought up a very important point about Jesus being told by an angel to leave Galilee and go and flee to Egypt, because and at that point Jesus became a refugee and left where he was with Nazareth to go to Egypt with Mary, Joseph and Mary, right? They fled, so they were refugees. So he was trying to make a point about that, and these people were acting like, they didn't want to hear it, and they were very mocking, almost like mocking the scripture that Reverend Al Sharpton was quoting. And you could see it in their eyes that they didn't want to hear that. These people got no souls. And that's why we're going to get exactly what we deserve.